So guys, welcome back to the channel, and on this video we are looking at a new Max Cushion premium daily trainer from Hoka. Guys, this is the Skyflow. Let's get into it. Now, full disclosure, Hoka was good enough to send me this pair of the Skyflow for the purpose of review. However, they haven't told me what to say, they don't have any editorial privileges, and all the thoughts and opinions are my own. With that said, you're going to be able to pick up a pair of the Skyflow for $160. And of course, I'll place links in the show notes below in case you want to pick up a pair for yourself. Okay, let's jump right into it. Now, in a lot of Hoka shoes, they do differentiate between the men's and the women's version. And in the men's version, we have 40 millimeters in the heel, 35 in the forefoot. And then in the women's version, we have 38 in the heel, 33 in the forefoot, both for a 5 millimeter drop. Now, Hoka claims that in a US men's size 10, the Hoka Skyflow tips the scale at 10 ounces even, or 284 grams. However, in my size, a US men's size 12.5, the Skyflow tips the scale at an even 12 ounces or 339 grams. So now that we've talked about the weight, let's bring in some of the competition, and we're going to start with a Mizuno Wavesky 8. Now the Wavesky 8 is a little more expensive at $170 and a little heavier at 348 grams. Next up we have the Saucony Triumph 22. Now the Triumph 22 is the same price at $160, but again a little heavier than the Skyflow at 350 grams. And finally, we have the On Cloud Monster 2. Now this is quite a bit more expensive at $180, but it is the same weight at 339 grams. So if we look at the competition, the Hoka Skyflow is actually pretty well situated, at least as far as weight and cost. Now look, the Hoka Skyflow does fit true to size if you know what size Hoka you wear. You know what I mean? Like if you've worn them before, the Skyflow fits me like every other pairs of Hoka. However, with that said, unless I'm running in a Hoka race shoe, my normal size in a Hoka training shoe is half a size down from normal. That's why I'm wearing a US men's size 12.5 in this, and most other shoes I wear are US men's size 13. So just keep that in mind, especially moving forward, because I will be talking about sizing a little more. Let's get right into the materials. We'll start at the top and work our way down. This is a premium daily trainer, so we got quite a bit of padding coming around this heel collar. However, it's not over the top. I did get a good heel lockdown just based on the padding, and if we come around to the heel counter, it's totally rigid. No chance of heel slip here in the Skyflow. Got this cute little heel pull right on the back, but you know what? It's a little awkward. I mean, it's big enough for my finger to get in, but only just. And I imagine there's going to be some fat-fingered runners out there that may not be able to get their finger in here. But it's there, it does the job. Okay, it's using a Krill Jacquard mesh upper, and it's nice. I've really got no complaints. It's not overly thick, so it's fairly breathable, but it's not crazy breathable. You know, there is such a wide spectrum of breathability with running shoes. We have the race day shoes, which is as breathable as like air coming through a screen door, and then we have the heavy knit uppers, which are not breathable at all. This Krill Jacquard mesh upper sits right in the middle, and at least I can say that my feet didn't feel warm when I was running in them. As far as overlays go, it's pretty typical for Hoka. We got the logo here on the lateral side. There's an underlay coming around the toe box. Got the little bird logo here on the medial side. It's an overlay right on the back. And then of course coming along the eyelet chain just to give that support. Oh, and if we do come to the top of the eyelet chain, we do have that additional hole in case you wanted to do the lace lock. However, I didn't have to do that in these shoes. That rigid heel counter and padded heel collar really did the job for me. The tongue is actually pretty thick, and it is gusseted as we would expect with a premium trainer. And we have a lace loop right on the front. And you know this if you've been watching many of my videos. I'm really not a fan of super thick tongues, and I'd say the tongue on the Skyflow is definitely on the thicker end of tongues. But look, here's the thing, and I think this is what Hoka is doing. They are providing a premium product, and when you're providing a premium product, you're asking for a premium price, and you're going to want some premium materials. So if you add a little more material to it, sometimes that looks a little premium. I think that's probably the case. You know, I've run a lot of shoes with much thinner tongues, and it doesn't take much to prevent the lace bite. But it is what it is. It works. I didn't have any tongue migration. I didn't have any lace bite on the top of my foot, so we'll leave it there. The Skyflow does come with a removable sock liner, which is always handy if you want to take that out and replace it with something custom. It's also good for me, so when I soak my shoes after going for a run in them, I can just remove that sock liner and hang it up and then stuff the rest of the shoes with newspaper, and it just dries out a lot quicker. Okay, let's come down to the outsole, because Hoka is using their supercritical EVA, and you know that's the same supercritical EVA that they're using in the Mark 6. And look, I know a lot of you hear EVA and you're like, I'm not going to buy a pair of shoes with EVA foam. Guys, if that is your attitude, I challenge you to try the supercritical EVA in the Skyflow or the Mark 6. It isn't that old school, really heavy EVA. It is fun to run it. Now, it's definitely not a race day foam, but the Skyflow isn't a race shoe. Oh, I guess now would be a good time to tell you what the Skyflow is for. And this shoe is squarely going to be used in the realm of easy runs, recovery runs, just going out and cruising. And for the most part, that's exactly how I got my testing miles in the Skyflow. Coming down to the outsole, Hoka is using some high abrasion outsole rubber, and the outsole rubber is definitely a lot thicker here in the heel, which is good because us heel strikers tend to heel strike even more at slower paces. And look, I'm happy to see this. The wear back here on my lateral heel edge, where I usually see the most wear, is just almost non-existent. If it wasn't just dirty, it would look like it hasn't been used. And then up here on the forefoot, yeah, I'm seeing a little bit of scuffing, but it's nothing. Now I've got to say, when I'm looking at the outsole rubber that's on here, it doesn't look particularly thick, but because I'm not seeing too much wear, I'm going to say the Skyflow is going to last average to above average, as in distance run in them. Now, what I really liked about the Skyflow, and when I think about it, this is what actually made me grab the shoes day after day when I was testing them, and that's the geometry. And the Skyflow is using the same geometry that is seen in the Skyward X. Remember this bad boy? Anyway, now that I've said that it shares the same geometry, I also have to tell you that the Skyflow and the Skyward X do not feel anything alike. Remember, the Skyward X has that big concave plate, which makes it feel really bouncy. The Skyflow is an unplated shoe. But because it's unplated, and we've got that supercritical EVA, and we've got that superb geometry, my favorite part about the Skyflow was the ride, and it just flows effortlessly. That is what made me want to take this shoe out day after day. Now, I did say that this shoe is best for easy runs or recovery runs, but when I did take this shoe out with my wife, she likes to run a lot faster, a lot more often than I do. So I did take this shoe up to the high 6s, low 7s, and it performed okay at those speeds for short amounts of time. But be assured that this is a training shoe. I will not be grabbing this to do any workouts where I need to keep my legs turning over at a high rate of speed for a long time. Oh, and the density of the midsole is like right in that sweet spot. I know when we're looking at a shoe that has a 40mm stack height in the heel, we think it's going to be super plush. The Skyflow is not super plush, but it is not firm at all. It is right there in that sweet spot. Okay, so now I've rabbited on about how much I like this shoe, how comfortable it is on the ride. Let me tell you what I didn't like. And I was a little surprised about this because I haven't experienced this in a Hoka shoe in a good number of years. And I think the last time may have been the first Rincon or maybe the Rincon 2, but I did find the toe box in the Skyflow just a little narrow. And I've said it time and time again that I have narrow feet. And where I noticed it the most was right here on this lateral edge, right where my little toe is. And I could just feel the upper pressing against my little toe. Now, perhaps I could have gone for a wide version, but the thing about that is that the rest of the shoe feels really good. And when you go to a wide version, you also get a lot more volume in the upper. You know, they don't just make it wider in the exact place where you need it. But even though I did feel some pressure here on my little toe, it didn't stop me from putting the shoe on and going for a run day after day when I was testing it. In fact, it wasn't actually discomfort, it was just something that I noticed. So once I got used to it and the run went on, I did find myself just not thinking about it. But then when I brought my thoughts back to the shoe, I could just notice that there was a little pressure here on my little toe. So all that to say, if you do have wider feet, I'm not sure if the normal width Skyflow is going to be right for you. You may want to go with a wide size, but as always, I would definitely suggest trying before you buy just to see how it fits there for you. So now I want to hear from you. Have you run in the Skyflow? If you have, I definitely want to hear your opinion. And if you haven't, are you thinking about picking up a pair? If you are looking for a comfortable running experience that just kind of flows, Skyflow is definitely one to take a look at. And with that, it's Matt B. This has been my review of the Hoka Skyflow. Be kind, be happy, run well. I'll see you in a couple of days.